Was geht, meine lieben Freunde, euer Nudi und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einem neuen Steins Zero Let's Play. Ja, meine lieben Freunde, heute sind wir in der 7. Folge angelangt, laut meines Wissens. Und heute gehen wir direkt rein und ich habe auch echt Bock, also ich werde es vorproduzieren für euch, Freunde. Und zwar dieses Let's Play und die nächsten Zeit auf jeden Fall vorproduziert, oder das nächste zumindest noch, also das 7. und 8. Oha, weil ich nah daran bin, glaube ich, das nächste Kapitel zu erreichen. Und ja, das wäre ziemlich cool. Okay, let's go. Lasst gerne ein Like da, wenn es euch gefällt. Schreibt gerne in die Kommentare, ob ich noch irgendwie etwas lauter, leiser machen soll. Und ich habe richtig Bock, jetzt hier reinzugehen. Ah ja, stimmt, in Dance haben wir uns vorgerankt und da war dieser Klingelton, da haben wir aufgehört, Freunde. Genau da haben wir aufgehört. Doch besser, Alter. So. Okay, Freunde, ich würde sagen, diese Episode halten wir so eine halbe Stunde lang und die nächste wird dann so 40 bis 50 bis eine Stunde und dann beenden wir das Orbital Eclipse Kapitel. Okay, wir gehen rein, Freunde. But then someone's phone rang.
ごめんなさい、私だわ。
She took out her phone and checked the screen, then looked at me.
ねえ、岡部さん。今、アマデウスにアクセスしてもいいかしら。
え？
着信、あの子からなの。それに、あの子がこの状況の中に入ったらどんな反応を示すか。それもいいサンプルになりそうだし、ダメかしら。
それは。ねえ、
真帆さん、真帆さん。アマデウスって何かな？
Next thing I knew, the call from Coris had stopped, and instead everyone was listening to us.
特定の人間の記憶データを内包したアーティフィシャルインテリジェンスよ。アーティフィシャル AI のことだにゃ。AI？
Achso.
AI とはエンシェントインテリジェンス。
Ancient Intelligence. Ah.
大いなる知恵のことなんだにゃ。
Ja, keiner True, wenn man so überlegt, ob Coris bei Wissen so stark war, als sie so schlau war und so.
自分で考えて学習するように作られたプログラムのことだお。でも特定の人の記憶がある AI ってことは、それって誰かのコピーってことじゃね？
さあ。
果たしてそれがコピーとなり得るのか。それを現在進行形で検証しているところよ。
それがアマデウスってわけ？驚いた。そんなもん作ってるなんて。
Ja, er ist der Superhacker.
ルカ君わかる？僕にもさっぱり。見てもらえば早いんだけど。
She glanced over at me.
映らないところでなら。
わかった。
She sighed. Digga, wie spricht man das aus? Also ich weiß, Sigh ist so. Sie. So. Hey! Sie gähnte. Nein. Sigh. Seufzte. She sighed. Kann man, wie man das ausspricht, meine. Ja, schreibt's in den Kommentar. She sighed and reached toward the icon on the smartphone with her finger.
スマホで起動できるん？
本体は大学のサーバーにあるんだけどね。簡易的にアクセスできるようにしたの。
Dara was staring down at the screen with stars in his eyes. And as soon as I heard the voice from her phone,
まあ、先輩ったらどうして出てくれな。
おお、すげえ。
先輩じゃない？誰ですか？
僕、橋田至。なんなら僕を先輩って呼んでくれてもいいのだぜ。できれば赤く頬を染めながら上目遣いでよろう。
して私が見ず知らずのあなたを先輩なんて呼ばなければならないんです？あなたは一体？
驚かせて悪かったわね。
あ、先輩、今の人は？
橋田さんといって岡部さんのお友達よ。今日はお正月でしょ。それで岡部さんのラボラトリーでお友達とパーティーをしているの。
ああ、あの冷たい岡部さんですか。先輩もあの人との付き合いはほどほどにしておいた方がいいですよ。じゃないといつか捨てられちゃいますから。
まあまあ。
There was ice in her voice. She must have been really mad. Well, I guess I could understand why.
というわけで紹介するわ。彼女が私の後輩、マキセ・クリスの記憶と人格を持つ AI、アマデウスよ。え？マキセ・クリスって。
もしかして
The Hashida family's voices rose in unison. That's right, those two knew about Kuris, and they knew what happened to her.
マキセ・クリスさんって確か半年前くらいにラジカンで。あ、マキセ・クリスさん、この人が。
もしかして皆さん、オリジナルの私のことをご存知なんですね。
いや、まあ。
心配しなくても大丈夫ですよ。私、オリジナルの自分に何が起きたか知ってますし。
そうなん？
That was easier said than done.
ねえ、これってゲーム？
Now I seemed to be the only one who didn't get what was going on. But for now I was glad of that. Her words broke the tension that was building up in the room.
ゲームじゃないわ。私
ゲーム。
AI。あなたと同じように自分で考えてお話ししているの。
っていうか、本当の AI なのにゃ？すごすぎるにゃ。
すごいのは私を作ってくれた真帆先輩です。
Everyone was staring in awe and at Kuris as she answered their question. I started to regret this. I shouldn't have let Kuris talk here. I shouldn't have made them all remember Kuris. I needed to end this conversation as soon as possible.
ヒア嬢さん。
あら、
The second they spoke, Mao emitted a small cry of surprise.
どうしたん？
アマデウスがいきなり消えてしまったの。
アプリが落ちたんじゃね？まあ、そういうことだってあるっしょ。
そうなんだけど、再起動してもサーバーに繋がらないのよ。
サーバーのデータ更新とかは？
そんな話聞いてないわ。
Sieht ausgesehen, einfach so.
ここのネット回線は
Vor allem auch
落
so
ちてないみた
gerade
いやけど。
ohne Musik ist das richtig sass irgendwie. Tyrus had tried and succeeded to connect her own smartphone to the web.
おかしいわね。今までこんなことなかったのに。
2011 spielt das, nicht vergessen, Jungs.
ねえ、岡部さん。あなたの方でも試してみてもらえない？
いや、俺は。
Whatever. I don't think Kuris likes me, but before I could end my sentence, I heard a crash.
ごめんなさい。
Kagari had evidently dropped a glass. Little fragments were spread out all over the
お姉ちゃん、
out all over the floor.
顔色悪いよ。
ええ、ありがとう。ちょっと疲れたのかも。あ、でも平気。ごめんね。すぐに片付けるから。
Sie ist müde direkt nachdem die Verbindung
かがり
mit
さんはじっとしてて。
Amadeus
僕が片付けますか。
Kuris abgebrochen wurde. Okay. Oh nein. It was an instant that Luca stood up to get the broom that I heard the sound. Mr. Braun?
動くな。
Digga, ich hab das vergessen, was? Armed man stopped into the room out of nowhere. Nobody knew what was going on. They were all wearing strange masks. They were all holding guns. Some of them had assault rifles. Digga, das ist ganz rechts, die Maske. Digga, das Voice Acting. The side brought that nightmare back to me. Oh mein Gott, Digga. Digga! Mallory's brutal murder, which I'd seen again and again and again and again and again. I thought I was okay now. I thought everything was over. Was this because of the world line change 2 weeks ago? Mallory.
騒ぐな。
Mallory's going to die again.
騒ぐなと言っているだろう。
A bang. A black hole in the floor. It's okay. That was just a warning shot. But it was enough to snap everyone out of their terror.
それ本物かよ。
岡部さん、僕
No, don't do anything to tick them off. They were serious. They'd kill anyone they didn't need. Without mercy. Susua! What? What was Susua doing? It was no good. Na was clinging to her legs and keeping her from moving. No, maybe there were just too many of them for her to do her anything about it. I had to do something, but my legs were shaking too much for me to manage anything helpful.
とにかくみんな落ち着いてくれ。
そんなこと言われても。
いいから落ち着いて奴らの言うことを聞くんだ。
I'd gone through this more times than I could count, but it was still all I could do to speak. But evidently my desperation had gotten through to them, because they stopped panicking, jumped together and simply waited for the intruder's next move. I heard the sound of heels from behind the armed man. Oh no. A woman's footsteps coming up the stairs. Was it here? Moika Kiryu? Is it you? Ey Freunde, ich hab Gänsehaut. Are you going to kill Mayuri again? But what appeared from beyond the door was... a woman in black. She wore a skin-tight motorcycle suit and a black helmet. The black visor was pulled down and I couldn't see her face. It had to be her, though. But if it was, what did they want? Last time it was me, Daru and Kuris, but Kuris was gone. Did that mean they were after Maho? The woman silently looked around the room and then walked over to us and reached out her hand. She grabbed Kagari's arm and yanked her forward. They were after Kagari? But why her? No, there was only one reason they'd want her. Did they know then? That Kagari was from the year 2036? Kagari struggled. But that woman was stronger than she'd imagined, and she was easily pulled away. Mari and Kagari reached out their hands, but they both grabbed nothing but air. What do I do? What should I do? If I moved, Mari would, everyone would. Then did I have to just watch as she was taken away? There was suddenly a scream from near the door. By the time I looked over, the second man was already falling to the floor. Mr. Braun! The goat!
って何の騒ぎだ
Digga.
ブラウン氏
くそ
Before he could turn his gun around, Mr. Braun had grabbed his hand and twisted it upwards. Oh, Digga! I heard the death sound of snapping bone. Junge, wie stark ist Mr. Braun, Digga? The man seemed unsure of how to handle this sudden intruder. One of the men decided to run toward us. He reached for what looked like the weakest member of our group. Normally, this would have been the right choice, but this time it was the worst choice he could have made. With speed that you would never imagine from someone so huge, Mr. Braun closed the gap between himself and that man in an instant, slamming him into the wall. When they saw him bounce off and hit the floor, the others became deathly pale. And then Susa, whose legs were now free of Nice's grasp, moved as well. A thin, muscular leg, the exact opposite of what you'd expect to see from Dara's daughter, lashed up straight for the motorcycle suit woman's neck. The woman blocked the kick with her arm at the last moment, but when she moved her hand to block, she let go of Kagari. I reached out my hand and quickly pulled her close.
岡部さん
Realizing the tide had turned, the woman leaped out of the lab in an instant, clutching her injured arm. Clutching? The other attackers followed suit, carrying the injured fellows. In a moment, the chaos was replaced with silence. Ey, ich kommentiere gerade gar nicht, ne? Aber ich bin gerade wirklich so locked in, Freunde. Ist mir gerade aufgefallen. Junge. Mari's quivering voice brought me back to reality.
マユリ無事か他のみんなも大丈夫だったか怪我はないか
Digga, die Spannung ist so geil gerade. Daru, Susa, Ferris, Ruruko, Nae, Mao, Kagari. Their faces were drained of color, but none of them seemed hurt.
大丈夫もう大丈夫だ苗のことはちゃんとお父さんが守ってやるからな
When they saw the Tanoji family clinging to each other, everyone finally... Digga, wieder dieses Wort fucking sided, seufzte, ach leck mich, with relief. Sided, sided? Ach man, leck mich, sided. But still.
おい岡部説明してもらおうかあの連中は何だ
いやそれは俺にも
Ja, das Voice-Acting von Okabe ist krass. I didn't. At first I thought they were with CERN. But if they were, there was no reason for Tennoji to be here. Yugo Tennoji was actually FB, the leader of the Akihabara around us. Of course, it was possible that someone working for FB, Moika for example, had acted without his knowledge. Aber Moika würde das niemals machen ohne Knowledge, so, aber ja. Everyone tensed as the door opened again. Ach, das ist ein Fubuki-Indianer nur.
飲み
Ja.
物いっぱい買ってきたよ。遅くなってしまってごめんなさい。
Digga,
吹雪ちゃんが
die sehen jetzt wie alle so am Crying sind und panicken und.
どうしたのみんな。そんな怖い顔して。
Ja. Das ist crazy,
送っ
Digga.
ていただいてありがとうございました。
Junge, die Anspannung, Freunde. Crazy. Of course, after that, the New Year's Party was cancelled. Übrigens, kurze Sache, Freunde. Vorhin hatte ich gesagt, so, ja, da kann ich mich gar nicht mehr erinnern. Das war übrigens bezogen natürlich, ich habe der Anime geschaut. Das Game habe ich aber nur 3 verschiedene Anime gespielt. Deswegen, was jetzt hier so passiert und alles, ist für mich auch neu. Und, also denke ich mal. Und, oder einfach, vielleicht habe ich auch Sachen vergessen, von dem Anime passiert sind. Und auch so, ich weiß nicht, ob das so im Anime war. Kann sein, ich habe vergessen. Und auf jeden Fall ist es sehr geil, dass ich halt nicht mit nichts weiß. Einfach. Und ja, ich hab Bock. Okay, weiter geht's mit das. Wie muss ich kurz einmal sagen. I knew Mari had really been looking forward to it, but none of us were up for partying after that. I told everyone I'd give them an explanation another day. For now, I decided to send them home for safety's sake. Everyone but the Tennojis walked with me to the stations. Those who were taking the train home split up with us there, and the rest came with me to the Yanabayashi shrine. Daru, Suzuha, Lukako and Kagero were the only ones left. Hab eine Mail bekommen. Warte mal ab. So, was ist meine Mail? Oder wer schreibt mir zu so einer Situation mal ehrlich? Hä? Hä? Ah, got here safe, Nia. Thank me, thank me. Das hat sie mir geschrieben, okay, dass sie weg ist. Gut.
つけられてなかったか。
大丈夫。
Digga,
ずっと
ich
注意
muss auch noch
し
mal
て
kurz
た
sagen,
けど
Freunde. Aber
おか
das
しな気配は
Acting
なかっ
vorhin,
た。
also Voice Acting von Oka, so, als sie so reinkommt, er so, Digga, das war so crazy gut, Digga. Boah. Digga, don't worry, I watch Cap. Achso, Lost, hat sie gesagt.
そうか。
Ah, meiner Kolben, Digga, verschreibt mir die ganze Zeit. Achso, alle schreiben immer so, dass sie jetzt, zu sind. Oh, fuck. I hadn't seen any suspicions at the station. If there were sunrunners, I would have expected to see them everywhere. I told the ones who'd taken the train to go straight home and contact me when they got there. Several of them already had. They'd made it home just fine. Mari made it home fine. I told Mari in particular to send me stickers on Ryan at regular intervals. She'd been doing that, so she was probably okay. Blush. Digga, what the fuck. But that didn't mean I was out of the woods yet. Digga, hab mich voll... No problems. Gut, gut, gut. Ich werde jetzt noch die nächste Zeit immer voll gespammt von allen. Fubuki und die anderen, bla bla. But it didn't mean I was out of the woods yet.
やっぱり私が狙われたのかな。
おそらくな。
連中かがりたんのこと知ってるんかな。
だろうな。
I didn't know if they were with CERN yet. But it was safe to assume that they knew Kagari was from the future. And that's why they'd attacked her.
ごめんね。
Was für, I'm
私の
sorry.
せいでみんなまで
Ist ja nicht ihre
危険
Schuld.
に合わせてしまって。
君だけのせいじゃない。
Entirely, okay. She was brought here from the future at a young age, and then she went missing. She was another victim of fate. Like me.
でも 本当にいいんですか？警察に届けなくても。
すまないが、今はまだ。
Madada. Not yet. Mao and the others had asked me the same thing, but I had managed to get them to hold off. Part of the problem was that I didn't think they'd believe us, but the biggest issue was Kagari. If we told them they were after Kagari, we'd have to explain who she was. We couldn't tell them the truth. Even if we did, they wouldn't believe us.
で、これからどうする？
Ja, gute Frage. Was machen? Was jetzt? So.
連中が何者かわからなければどうしようもない。
Alter.
じゃあ、私たちだけで突き止めるってこと？どうやって？
それは。
To be honest, I had no clue. The world was full of groups who would want a functioning time machine if they knew it existed. Russia, America, China, and even Japan. If I couldn't find out who they were, the same thing was likely to happen again.
方法は明日改めて考えよう。それよりもルカ子、頼みがあるんだが。
はい、なんでしょう。
すまないが、今日から鈴葉も一緒にお前のところに泊めてもらってもいいか？
Damit sie Kagari protecten kann, I guess, ne? Weil Suzuha ist so stark.
私がルカ兄さんの家に？
ああ、かがりを他で預かってもらうのも考えたんだが、ここの方が人数も多いし、防犯設備も整っている。
They had security systems to keep people from vandalizing the plates and robbing the donation boxes. Just taking a quick look around, I could see that there were cameras. And this was Kagari's idea to begin with.
かがりもここの方がいいんだろ？
I could understand that. She was already in an unstable state after losing her memories, and even before what happened today.
鈴葉がいてくれれば、みんな少しは安心できる。もちろん、ルカ子の家族の承認が必要だが。
お父さんはきっと大歓迎だと思います。
That was certainly true.
私も別に構わない。
僕も泊まってもいいのだぜ。
兄さんは帰りなさい。
しょぶーん。
Watching them talk made me think that things were slowly returning to normal. Lukako and Kaguri's expressions softened a little. Daru's usual antics had come in handy for once. Was für once? Ja.
じゃあ、
Macht's
頼
immer
む
so
ぞ。
für den
何かあ
Chill.
ったらすぐに連絡してくれ。
わかりました。
Okay. Daru and I left Kagari to the two of them and headed back to the lab.
なあ、あれ、本当に起きたことなんだ
Digga,
よな。
Goto ist die.
ああ、
ドッキリとかじゃなくて、現実なんだよな。
Real. Yeah, that was real. I'd experienced it so many times before. Screams and the smell of gunpowder. Nein, wird übel.
どうしたん、オカリン？
すまない。安心したせいか、気分が。
I'd been so focused on seeing everyone home safely that I hadn't had the time to think about it. But with that done, the memories came flooding back. The memories of last July.
大丈夫。今は僕も一緒だからさ。なんならちょっと休む？
I could feel Dara's huge hand rubbing my back. Strangely, it made me feel a little better. Was ist strangely? Daru ist dein Bro, Digga. Dein Man, Digga. Right hand man.
もう大丈夫だ。
無理すんなよ。
ああ、
I started to walk toward the lab again, and Daryl followed me, worried.
なあ、オカリン。
うん
やっぱさ、これもタイムマシン関係のことだよな。
ああ、
これもシュタインズゲートの選択とかいうやつ？
The choice of Steins Gate.
今思えば痛々しい響きだな。
オカリン。
Was it going to keep following me forever, no matter how much I tried to look away or run? I just wanted to live in peace. Was even that too much to ask now?
オカリン、肩貸してやるよ。
え？
まだふらついてるじゃん。ほれ。
大丈夫だよ。
Darus sein Bro,
いいから
Digga.
遠慮すんなって。
ダル、
ん？
お前キモいぞ。
最近のまともになったオカリンの方がキモいっつーの。
ありがとな。
気にすんな。
Digga, Darus ist wirklich sein Bro. Oh, übrigens, Freunde. Oh, dann gehen wir so kurz einmal in Rückkursgedanken. Immer wenn sowas kommt, wenn man so jemanden sieht und, also wie es gerade eben war, dann ist es immer zu der Person deren Gedanken. Das war auch einmal schon bei Zusucher, als ich nicht Let's Played hatte, leider, aber ja, wisst ihr jetzt. Wollte ich euch sagen. Ja. Luka Urushibara was sad. He'd been sad for a long, long time. It had been a long time since he'd met Rintaro Okabe, become friends, and began to visit the future gadget lab. Ito Hashida, his classmate, Mayo Rishina, and the other lab members all treated him as a friend. That, by itself, made him happy. He was just an ordinary shy boy, and they accepted him anyway. He was very grateful for that. But still, he'd always felt like he was being left out. He knew they were hiding something from him. That made him sad. But what made him sadder was that he couldn't bring himself to ask them about it.
寝ないの？あまねさんこそまだ起きてたんですね。いろいろ考えることがあってね。そうですか。
Even Luca could tell that a lot meant she was thinking about what happened today. The New Year's party. The mysterious men who burst into the lab. They were holding guns. Not plastic model guns. Real guns. From Luca's perspective, it was a mystery how they'd even gotten them into Japan. But they were real anyway. They'd had real guns in their hands, and they'd pointed them at him and the others. It hadn't seemed real then, but now the very thought made him shiver. If any of them had squeezed their index fingers just a little, he, Luca, wouldn't be here right now. Kagerishina moaned softly in her sleep. She must have been really tired after everything that had happened today. She had gone to sleep almost immediately after she had laid down, and her short breaths had soon changed into moans. Albtraum? Was she dreaming of her mother? Even that didn't surprise Luca much. She'd started calling out that name in her sleep several days ago. Kagerishina. Mayorishina. At first he just thought it was a coincidence that they had the same last name. But... He almost spoke, then stopped. There was so much he wanted to ask, but couldn't. He wanted courage. Just a little. The courage to ask them to tell him. Dieser Monolog ist gerade so interessant, Alter. Also die Gedanken von Lukaku zu sehen. He reached under his pillow and felt something hard. It was a cheap toy sword, the kind you could buy at any store. But still, it was his treasure. He held the hilt tight. Damit hat er immer die Schläge gemacht, was Okabe ihm gesagt hat mit diesem Schwert. Und Steins genommen. Falls ihr es vergessen habt, Freunde. Suzuha sat up and looked straight at him. He was only barely able to stop himself from looking away. If he did, he wouldn't be able to ask anything. He touched the toy sword once more and slowly opened his mouth to speak.
あまねさんはどうして岡部さんのことオカリンおじさんって呼ぶんですか？どうしてまゆりちゃんのことまゆ姉さんって呼ぶんですか？どうしてフェイリスさんのことルミ姉さんって呼ぶんですか？僕のことルカ兄さんって呼ぶんですか？まゆりママってまゆりちゃんのことですよね。どうしてかがりさんがまゆりママなんて言うんですか？私の言えた義理じゃないってことは分かってる。でも知らない方がいいと思う。そうやって僕はまた蚊帳の外なんですか？僕だって知りたいです。僕だって皆さんと同じ悩みを共有したいんです。ルカ兄さん、教えてもらえませんか？
She looked him straight in the eye for a moment, silently. Luca simply waited.
オカリンおじさんがさ、ルカ兄さんに事情を言わない理由、私なんとなくわかる気がするんだ。理由ですか？ルカ兄さんには純粋にこの世界の人でいてほしいんだよ。ルカ兄さんだけは今という時間の存在でいてほしいんだ。それがオカリンおじさんの救いなんだ。僕が救い？ああ、そんな。
Interessant. So denkt. Now that she'd taught him that. He couldn't ask any more questions. Did Rentaro Okabe really think that? He didn't even know. In the end, he would never know anything. And that only made him sadder. Okay, Freunde. An der Stelle würde ich sagen, beenden wir dieses Let's Play. Digga, was war das für ein geisteskrank geiles Let's Play heute, Freunde. Lasst auf jeden Fall ein Like da, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Und what the fuck, es war so geil, ey. Es hat so Spaß gemacht, Digga. Wir sind hier schon bei 40 Minuten fast in der Folge. Und geisteskrank geil. Schaltet gerne das nächste Mal ein, wenn ich wieder zock. Und nächstes Mal spielen wir wahrscheinlich dieses Kapitel fertig. Keine Ahnung. Lasst gerne ein Like und ein Abo da. Damit würde ich sagen, Wiederschauen, Freunde. Und reingehauen. checkt die anderen Parts ab und tschaußen.